You can now get a 30-day trial to experience The Athletic for free. Visit the link in the description below to try it now.
Hello, welcome back to Tifo IRL. I am JJ Bull, and in this video, I'm joined by Tom Morville, who is trapped inside a scattergram. Hello, Tom.
Hi, JJ. Yep, still here. Change of clothes though, which is nice from the scattergram overlords, and a haircut. But apart from that, I'm still in the scattergram.
How did you get a haircut inside the scattergram?
I just woke up and it was just like this.
Crazy.
Yeah, it's just how it works.
You're regenerating.
Yeah, I guess so.
More powerful than ever, perhaps?
I feel less powerful, but I've literally lost hair. I don't know how you. Yeah, how that helps your power.
Yeah, you're probably weaker now.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you what's not weaker. Data. And in this scattergram that you're trapped in today, it's interceptions versus... No, what is it?
Tackles versus interceptions.
Okay, it's attempted tackles, so not...
Yeah, all tackles, all tackle attempts down the X, and then the Y, I'll just shuffle. We've got interceptions here. And what we see here, this is all midfielders since the start of last season again, and all midfielders with 900 minutes or more. And what we're looking at is, you know, what does it mean to do a lot of tackles, a lot of interceptions? Does it mean anything? And which are the players of interest?
So, I mean, the obvious one that stands out straight away is Milan Badelj.
Yeah, Badelj is here. And as you can see, we've got a nice kind of colour palette as well for the different leagues. So any guys that you don't recognise the name of, you now know which league they play in. But yeah.
That's for you, YouTube commentators. That's for you.
Yeah, we're listening.
Yeah, and Badelj is a midfielder who plays for Genoa. That's who he is, in case you weren't sure.
Yeah, he's a Croatian man, and as you can see, he does a lot of interceptions. So he is, you know, reading the play really well. There's something to do with Genoa's play where he's the one who's constantly snuffing out opposition attacks, picking up the ball. An interception isn't always where a player like fully reads the play and kind of like, you know, takes a pass mid-flight and then redirects it. It could be them just kind of blocking a passing lane, getting a toe on it and kind of nicking it so it changes directions.
Right. So the most likely thing here with players that would be at the top would be ones, I'd imagine, who play for not the best teams because they're more likely to be defending more.
Yeah, exactly. I think it's, with a lot of this, I mean, you see that you've got like guys like Jordan Henderson just around here. And guys kind of around there who they're not putting up very high numbers, but of course they play for sides which have a lot of the ball and therefore have fewer opportunities to defend. And so therefore, you know, this isn't adjusted for that. All it cares about is just raw tackle and interception numbers.
Right, and then that's interesting then for me because you've got N'Golo Kante and Ndidi roughly in the same area who play for good teams, especially last season. Kante plays in a 2 in that 3-4-3 that Chelsea always play, so he's the 10 in that situation. In this, in fact, I've done all the formation wrong here. Is what I've done it wrong. But Kante plays in a 2. Ndidi plays as the anchor basically, and Leicester's normally a 4-1-4-1. Although a lot of the time they play a 3-5-2, Iheanacho or just Iheanacho, I think he says his name. Iheanacho and Vardy together. But the impressive thing about that is that because they play for good teams, they're still posting really good attempted tackles and interceptions numbers, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you can see, and we'll just show you this time. I can get all the way over. And Ndidi and Kante, yeah, definitely like they're kind of the one-man defensive unit, right, for their teams. Yes, the teams have a lot of possession in Chelsea's case, and maybe slightly less so for Leicester, but they're good at really covering a lot of ground and able to kind of play or have the same defensive output really as a double pivot would have, but they're on their own.
So then is Jordan Henderson's numbers good for where he is?
Yeah, I think, I guess the biggest takeaway with a lot of this data is that this isn't really telling us good versus bad. This is more kind of stylistic really. Just because Badel's at the top and has a lot doesn't make him a good player the same way Hatem Ben Arfa, I mean in a defensive sense, he doesn't do a lot, same as Ross Barkley, but it's not really their jobs. So I think whenever you see numbers like this, it's not really, you know, good versus bad. It's more, you know, what sort of style of team they play for, what's their role, and that's the reason why they put up different numbers.
Right. So what does that then tell us about Eduardo Camavinga? Just moved to Real Madrid, French superstar, wonder kid. I think there's going to be he's playing. Real, what formation they're playing this year? 4-3-3 mostly, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so under Ancelotti.
Camavinga's playing, and Camavinga I think plays sort of on the left of the three.
Yeah.
With Casemiro as the
holding.
The DMC.
Nice. Yeah, I think the thing with Camavinga is that he's obviously fairly deep, but he times his pressures kind of when he jumps in midfield to the guy on the ball really, really nicely. And that's why you see him kind of like post really good tackle numbers, because he's trying to get into people's faces, just when they've received the ball, and times his moves like that really, really well. And interestingly, you've actually got quite a lot of guys, kind of all the green, I'll go over again, I won't lose my arm this time, all the kind of green guys around here, a lot of guys from Ligue 1. So maybe that says something about the way that the midfielders are set up there. You've got Chouameni who's in there, Maxime Caqueret as well, who plays for Lyon, who's a very, very active midfielder, posts really high pressure numbers. So maybe it says something about the style of league, the style of the teams there. But interesting that we've got a lot of French-based players doing a lot of tackling.
Yeah, well, I feel like I've learned an awful lot about the difference in data and why it's not about being good or bad, it's just being.
Correct.
Like being
in the scattergram.
Trapped forever.
If you like this video, please consider subscribing to the channel. The Athletic is home to some of the world's best sports journalists, including David Ornstein, Daniel Taylor, Ollie Kay, Amy Lawrence and Rafa Honigstein. There are journalists dedicated to each Premier League team, so every fan gets the coverage they deserve, not just the big clubs. And you can try it for free now for 30 days. See the link in the description.